Yeah, some information here quickly. The guy who made that appeal on YouTube, which I didn't know had 360,000 views, I just found a video of it when I was searching that had, you know, like half a dozen views, and I thought, blimey, I better mirror this in case it's for real. Well, I don't actually think it is now, because I've just had a look at this. He's made it to the mainstream media, the New York Times. If you have a look at this, you'll see that it is all part of the drama. It's all part of the script. It's all designed to create a false dichotomy, a sort of a fake argument about ventilators and stuff. It's just a diversion technique. So I'm absolutely positive of this now, guys. Look at this guy here, for example, straight away.
This disease as challenge.
Okay, you're a lying scumbag. Dr. David A. Farsi, right? You can just read his face here. He's interested in educating us. That's what he's interested. They all are in the media. So let's have a look at this guy here. Dr. David Farsi. Well, first of all, he works in the same place as Mount Sinai Medical Center, the same place as our friend Dorian Smith. Is it Dorian Smith, the medical simulations expert? Yeah, okay. What are the chances? They're all going to work together. Obviously, she's not going to be running a medical simulation on her own, is she? She's going to be running a medical simulation with all her colleagues that work at the same place. Anyway, this guy, David Farsi, he's an author. He wants to get on the media. He wants to preach. He was one of the doctors involved in rescuing people from 9/11. Okay, it's all on here, but here's the crunch. Dr. Farsi is the academic vice chair and associate professor of the Department of Emergency Medicine and Critical Care at Herbert blah blah blah, Florida International University. In this role, Dr. Farsi is actively involved in the education of medical students and residents and medical simulation. Okay, so you can tell actually when you look at this now.
Everything that we believed was right 6 weeks ago.
It's different than anything we've seen before, and maybe the way we've taken care of things is not the right way of doing it.
There is a lively and healthy debate that I think is a good debate about what the right thing to do here is.
I'm concerned that if we continue on the path that we're on, that hundreds of thousands of lives and lungs may be at risk.
You see, that's the sort of thing that's going to get me, and it did for a little while. So what they've done here is they've created a conspiracy theory in a conspiracy theory to get everybody distracted and talking about, you know, this fake drama that they're now creating. You know, should we use ventilators? Should we not use ventilators? The things he says in here are designed to create a conspiratorial mindset, but to divert you away from what's really happening, which is it's just all bullshit. For example, Kyle Siddle will say somewhere in here, you know, is it natural or is it man-made? He doesn't say man-made, but he gives you that suggestive thought there that it could be man-made. You know, this is all designed to just throw you off course. He starts laughing.
And are we treating something that is naturally aired?
Why is he filming himself here? So he set up the camera at home, has he, to film himself looking concerned? Okay, you don't do that.
Yes, or are we not?
We protect the lung against what we do.
Yeah, another smiler. This bloke will start cracking up.
Patients that I'm seeing. So it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
That's what they say about Zionism.
Core of the core of the core. It is just, what disease are we treating?
Yeah. It's funny now, is it? Because I took you seriously for a moment.
You know, and are we treating something that is naturally aired? Yes, or are we not?
Okay, something naturally ARDS or whatever, or something that's not. So what's the alternative there? That's obviously meant to wind people up, make people think that, you know, it's a man-made plague.
We protect the lung against what we do to the lung.
It's actually kind of vital that we not deviate from those treatment protocols, because we know.
Who are you talking to down there on the floor?
They reduce mortality.
They will tie.
Okay, so
I can't believe that I would thought that
it's got all the dramatic wind chimes in the background and stuff. This guy's just talking garbage. I mean, what, you wouldn't walk into your own flat filming yourself talking about what food you've just bought. I mean,
stocked up for the apocalypse like most people.
Yeah, he's stocked up for the apocalypse like most people. He's got like a day's worth of food on that table.
Now I just can't believe that I would thought that I'd somehow be home to make all my frozen food, but
What? Looking at this now, yeah, they're all Doreen's friends. Is it Doreen? Doreen, is it Doreen Smith? I can't remember now. She's shit anyway. Okay, that medical simulation expert. They all work at the same place, and they're all laughing at us, and they think it's really funny. Look at this guy here. He thinks it's hilarious that 1/3 of the world's on lockdown, and we've all lost our freedoms because, you know, these arseholes have got dupe into lie, or they want to make some sort of point. I don't know what they want to do. I don't know what they want to do, but they're laughing at us. I'm not happy about it. It's all garbage. I've posted on here this morning. Don't you know that this doctor is responsible for 1/3 of the world being a police state? You know? Hope he reads that and reflects on what he's up to.
Today is kind of getting worse and worse. We had to get a refrigerated truck to store the bodies of patients who are dying.
Okay. That's not a refrigerated truck. Probably been putted out elsewhere, but just in case it hasn't, it needs to have an engine on the front running, or at least be plugged in. There's no wires or anything down here, so that is not a refrigerated truck. And also what she says here is a bit disturbing.
Truck to store the bodies of patients who are dying.
Did you get
to store the bodies of patients who are dying? We are right now scrambling to try to get a few additional.
Okay, so don't panic, everyone. She is a medical crisis actor. It's on her bio. She specialises in simulations, and you know, she's not great. She's really not that good, but that's what she does. This is Dr. Colleen Smith, I think it is, the simulation expert, and this is being justified. You know, this is the kind of crap that's been used to justify perpetual tyranny here. So I need it mirrored. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what she says. Okay, all the feet that you see, she's saying here, as she walks through there, there's some guy there with his legs crossed and his trainers on the left there, if you can see. Yeah, okay, legs crossed, trainers on. He's dying apparently, probably on a ventilator. Yeah, you're on a ventilator with your shoes on and your legs crossed. I hate it when
if you ask physicians,
when they put in these creepy music in the background.
A month and a half ago, hey, someone comes in breathing 40 times a minute.
Low oxygen levels.
Somebody who has an O2 sat in the 80s.
They will tire out within a few hours. So what's your next step?
Before COVID-19, I would recommend putting you on a breathing machine.
I would have rushed to intubate.
Because that was probably the right thing to do.
You know, I know when to put in a breathing tube. I've worked long enough and I've worked enough places and with enough people. But in this disease, it is extremely confusing.
Who are you talking to when you're walking along like that with that thing looking up your nose? I mean, it's just not right at all, is it? And, you know,
it just doesn't make sense.
You don't make sense, Kyle Siddle.
This guy stocked up for the apocalypse like most people. Now I just can't believe that I would thought that I'd somehow be home to make all my frozen food, but on a normal day in an ICU, you have very sick patients. Patients are dying, but
you don't say. You do?
This is just different. It's just you have a disease we don't
edited there. It's just different. How is it different? We don't know because it was edited.
Understand that it's very deadly with patients that are scared and that is very deadly with patients that are scared.
That wasn't me. I never did that. He did that. You know, it suddenly sprung towards his face.
You have a disease we don't understand that is very deadly, with patients that are scared and staff that are scared.
That's no good, is it? We don't want doctors who are scared of a virus
And
not even a high consequence infectious disease.
On top of that, it does not appear that we have a good treatment strategy other than a ventilator. And we're not sure when to put a breathing tube in. The crux of it is we don't want to put a breathing tube in to someone who doesn't need it, knowing that there's a 70% chance they'll die. And then we don't want to not put it in to someone who would need it too late.
Well, this is the big, the catch-22.
You go to the ER and there's 40 people that need oxygen.
Okay, so do you see that? So he's put the camera down to film himself getting ready to go to work. How many times do you do? How many times have I done that before I make it? Maybe I should do that in my future YouTube videos. Bizarre.
And they
Fake.
all look terrible, but they can all talk to you. And
Why has he got goggles on?
No apparent distress whatsoever.
And then you get them on a monitor and you look up and you see this oxygen saturation of 45 or 50%.
And I'm telling myself,
Well, that thing on the end of your finger, just twiddle it around a bit because it's probably not on properly.
this is impossible. This is not possible. How can this be?
It's just not compatible with life to have
Hilarious.
an oxygen saturation that low.
This is strange. It's out of a horror movie.
Oh, is it? It's out of a bad horror movie. Should we just catch that classic bit again? Because they always do this. They always say it's out of a bad film or a bad horror movie with a big smile on their face because they can't help it. 1/3 of the world is on lockdown, pal, because of you.
This is strange. It's out of a horror movie.
I've been...
Okay, disgusting.